everybody, my name is Erin, and most of you know me as the Director of New Business at Merit. But what you might not know is that I have a disease called cystic fibrosis. Cystic fibrosis is a chronic terminal illness that affects both the lungs and the pancreas. When I was born, my parents were told that I would be lucky to graduate high school. So you could probably imagine how grateful I feel to be turning 37 this summer. And a lot of that, of course, is owed to the incredible medical advancements and treatments that have been discovered. But even with that, the average life expectancy still only sits around 44 years old. And living with a chronic illness like CF is a lot of work. I spend about 2 hours a day on breathing treatments, take upwards of 50 to 60 pills daily, including giving myself multiple shots, and throughout the year require rounds of IV antibiotics for extensive airway scarring I've developed and something called bronchiectasis. Living with CF hasn't been easy, and on top of all of that, I also have to add a daily exercise routine with my treatments to try to keep my lungs as stable as possible, which isn't always the easiest when you're working with about 45% lung function. But for me, the opportunity to get breathless from exercise is a privilege. And let me say this, with all I have to do compared to other CF patients, I have it easy. There are countless CF patients that are in and out of the hospital every couple months, need to take more meds than I do, are on oxygen 24/7, and some that are desperately seeking a lung transplant that may never come in time to buy them more years. I've had several CF friends pass away from this disease. And as you can imagine, COVID has been extremely frightening and stressful. As I mentioned, I have about 45% lung function, and any bit I lose could have dire circumstances. In fact, any cold or flu can wreak havoc on my lungs. And throughout all of this, I have just felt so lucky to work for a company like Merit that not only values my health, but the health of every employee. Throughout the pandemic, we have all had the option to work from home, and that's been a lifesaver, especially for me. But even with the pandemic and before then, there were times that I would have to cancel traveling to higher ed conferences for being sick, and just for the risk of going indoors during that height of cold and flu season. Even when I wasn't feeling well, sometimes I wouldn't even know I had to cancel until a couple days before the conference. Well, our CEO, Colin, has not only been understanding toward my situation, but has always allowed me to put my health first. So much so that he and the team surprised me with a robot last week that will allow me to participate in office events when maybe I'm sick and can't come in, or I'm on IVs, and also will still allow me to attend conferences when they start back up. Robot Erin will hit the road with the Merit team and will allow me to do things like attend sessions at conferences, hang out at the Merit booth with the rest of the team, and of course say hi to all of our wonderful clients and meet and greet some new faces too. The culture at Merit that Colin has created is really an accessible workplace and a place where people from all different backgrounds and experiences can come together to share ideas and do meaningful work. I think having that accessibility and inclusion really fosters an environment where someone like myself feels acknowledged, supported, and most importantly, that my success and ability to do my job well isn't limited by my disability. One of the most beautiful things about living with this ugly disease is really the perspective it's given me on life, not just personally, but professionally as well. So once those conferences resume, be on the lookout for Robot Erin. Make sure you stop by and say hi to the Merit booth. And hey, if you ever want to visit from the bot and me, reach out.